Good morning.
Hello, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. Making good grades. Future's so bright. Well, gotta wear shades. We are back. This is our grand replay of scenario 3 now, the Battle of Fredericksburg. We have swapped sides. We are ready to go with Roger's turn as the Union, and I cannot wait to see what happens here. I've been thinking about this all week, of course, because you spend the first 3 or 4 days just, I'm kicking myself going, why didn't I do this? Why did I do that? And then we get corrections come in, which is what we're going to talk about here first. And then the rest of the week, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Roger's going to do that. That would be pretty cool. Let's see if that's going to happen. Are you excited for this too?
I am. I've been looking at this, puzzling over it, opened it up several times, read the rule book multiple times. Since we did have some rule errors, that always bothers me. There's something I was going to do, then I realized I can do it, but I can't do it the sequencing of I wanted to because of Hunt and his restrictions on turn one. He cannot move, and if he moves on turn two, you get points. So it's kind of like,
Right. Well, yeah, I guess we can, as always, remind people this is the second playthrough, so if you've not watched the first one, we're going to abbreviate. We're not going to go through all the special rules and everything. That's in the first video. Plus, you get to see what happens then, and we, of course, will try to avoid any spoilers, but a lot of this depends on us discussing the outcomes of the previous one and lessons that were learned and the errors that we made. So do go back, watch that if you've not watched it yet, and this is your last reminder to stop the video here so you won't be spoiled on this one. But let's go right into the errors. I think this is another situation where we read the rules, we interpreted the rules, everything was fine, and I think it was just a case of I, as the Union player, the heart wanted what the heart wanted, right? So I think it was okay, and had I just paid attention to the wording of a couple of things, I still would have probably done it that way. I just would have, done the order a
yeah,
little differently. So it's
yeah.
not a huge deal. The other one I think was, and I want to thank Holger as always. He's Johnny on the spot with correcting the fine points of some of these things, and he obviously went through it with a magnifying glass and found out that we did do those things. So the two that we know right off the top, and you may have more, Roger, in your review of it, was the first one was I made the big move with Howard coming from Summoner's Hex, and in the text of the rules, of course, they can go up to 6 hexes up or downstream, which is fine. That's exactly what I did. The specific ruling, which I think I turned that around, and I thought they had to start adjacent to a Union unit, but in reality, what they need to do is wherever they do their special crossing, they must be adjacent to a Union unit. So in that case, where I brought him over the ford here on the boats over to Banks Ford, had I just moved Hooker or somebody here first, then that would have been acceptable. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I did wrong on that. Now, as we saw, pretty questionable strategic choice there, but that be that as it may. So that's we just need to make sure that when Roger does it this time, and I'm sure you have already accounted for that in your planning, that wherever they cross, they will be adjacent to a unit, and that could even be a cavalry unit. So that might encourage you to move Bayard up here or Gregg over here, something like that, or wherever you want to move it. So that was one, and then the other one specifically was the nature of building. They say in the rules you can build up to forts, and they give you a lot of latitude on this one in the fact that because of the fog, you can build right into an enemy hex. So you don't have to worry about them destroying it after you place it. The one I interpreted wrong was that, oh, if I don't build that one here in turn one or whenever you clear out Fredericksburg, that you could just throw that in with the mix and you can build up to 4. That is incorrect. That is a conditional. You only get this one built
Yeah.
the moment you clear whomever out of Fredericksburg. So in that case, I did not have the right to build an additional one. I could only build, quote, up to 3. The first one is already there, and then I could build 2 more at the end of turn 1. So that was a good catch. Thank you for that, Holger. So that one is completely conditional. So if you don't clear out Fredericksburg, you don't get that extra one, I guess, as it were. What else did we find? Anything on your side?
I didn't see any other errors. This had to do with as I was planning my moves, that Hunt is treated like any other leader. He has to be attached to an infantry unit. So if I were to like activate Newton on my first free initiative and move Newton, he's going to have to go with Newton, which violates the Hunt cannot move rule. If I tried to activate like 2 units, Howe and Newton, I have to transfer Hunt to Howe. So he's going to move.
So he cannot just be attached to an artillery, huh?
He cannot be attached to an artillery. That's
very odd considering his station.
Yeah, it says specifically can be transferred to a different subordinate infantry unit, just like an army leader counter. See 6.3 in the rules, 6.3 specifically says that he can't be attached to an artillery or a cavalry. Maybe something, if they do decide to republish this title, I might throw in there and say maybe give him some flexibility to be attached to an artillery reserve unit, since he is the artillery reserve commander.
Yeah,
that's actually his job. Anyway, so that screwed
really
up
good,
my grand plan of how I was going to use these first 3, or the first free initiative the Union gets, and then you get another 2. You could call out the next 2, and the sequencing I was going to try to do. And now that's kind of messed up.
Right? Yeah.
I can't do what I want to do.
Now it really does seem with all of that in play now, and in hindsight, reflecting on the first playthrough, it really does seem very, very scripted. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it seems like all the indicators are saying, look, the first thing you really need to do is just go ahead, cross at Fredericksburg historically, and just clear them out of there. Do whatever you need to do, take whatever you want to do, but put Howard over there, clear him out, get the bridge, and then just march over en masse and push on Mary's Heights, like Burnside attempted to do, in December 1862. Now, that's fine, but it's all those little. It's like going to the bowling alley and the kids are playing bowling and they put the little rails up over the gutters. It's okay. It does kind of constrict you from some of the creativity for attacking the flanks or trying different things, and that's absolutely fine.
Yep, it's absolutely fine.
Except we don't like it.
Well, I don't know if I don't like it or I do like it. I think it's there. It's certainly, anyway, it's. Yeah, I think they are kind of, in this designer, Carl Laskus. So, Mr. Laskus, if you're out there, good job, basically, I think. But this does kind of, we'll see what I try to do here. I've been changing my mind as I look at it.
I seem to remember that when I was first playing Stonewall's Last Battle, which that was Ed Beach's first solo design on this back in '96, I think. Because it was such a small footprint, and it was just the single map, and everything was pretty much set up. And I just remember that some folks, when they would talk about it off the cuff, they're like, "Well, it's Chancellorsville. It's like it's fighting the knife fight in a phone booth." But yet, the difference between there and here is, as the Confederate player, the challenge is, all right, how much do you divide your force to send over for? Do you try the Great Flank March? Do you sacrifice this for that? So on the south side of the Rappahannock, you have lots and lots of choices, which I think is very intriguing historically. Here's all the pieces. Hey, can you get across the river, kid? Let's see you do it. And so I guess that's a little limiting, but I think with Howard, especially as I discovered with, and I edited it out, so people did not see it, but my first attempt was, I'm going to send Howard up here and have him attack Wilcox. Well, when that happens, you still get the +1 for the strike force, but you don't get the Stafford Heights artillery coverage because it's directly across the river. Well, guess what's directly across the river right out of the gate? Fredericksburg. So, so if you really want that extra little point, which you kind of need, well, then that's what you're going to do.
It's just talking strategy or tactics here. I was looking, if I go here and I fail, Howard's deadbeat.
I don't know what you mean, Roger. What does that feel like? I can't tell.
But if you go here, you get the negative creek.
Right. Yes. Right.
So they're kind of scripting a low odds, or potentially what's your better chance versus, I don't know. We'll see how this works. We'll see.
Yeah, and that was part of my thinking after the fact was, hey, Patrick, why did you get too cute? Why did you try to be too clever by half? Just sometimes they hand you a ball peen hammer and they say, hit that thing, and you're supposed to just hit it. And I have a feeling that's probably what you're going to do today. So we'll see if the dice gods go your way and we clear Barksdale out of there immediately. And now it's just the game is all about Mary's Heights, right? So well, then I think we've discussed that for over 10 minutes. So
Yep.
what say you get started here? And
Yep.
I will. I don't think we have to do anything. You've got leader transfers if you wish.
Yeah. I'm going to move Burnside to the big stack under Sumner, and he's officially attached to Getty down under there. The other thing is, boy, we talked about the inability of keeping these grand divisions together. Boy, Burnside sure screwed this up, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just off there with you. I'm with Humphreys
Oh, he's got
today.
cores all over the place. I mean, Fifth Corps is all scattered, and second, it's just what the heck, Bernie? What are you doing? And that's it for me, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I almost feel compelled, kind of like you had done, that figuring that somebody's going to potentially come across the river at Barksdale, I need those extra 2 tactical points to come into play here. I can't be deficient. So I'm going to move Lee and Longstreet to the town, and we'll stare across the river at Burnside. And I will wish you good luck as you get your first
Good luck to
free
you.
initiative.
Yes, and by rule, I think I have to announce that I'm going to do the 3 initiatives in a row right now.
Right.
I can't wait to see what my die roll here for movement is going to be, which is unfortunate. And I'm going to do the move. I think I'm going to do the script. We'll take Howe and Brooks, 6 Corps. Both will get a fatigue. And here's their movement. That's fine because they're
Yep.
just going
See,
to do it.
that's fine. This is fine.
Okay, so my second initiative. So now I'm going to activate Newton, who's at the bottom of the stack, and Howe. And here's their movement. So they have 3 movement points. Smith and Franklin are going to go with Newton. Hunt is going to stay attached to Brooks. So he is not moving. Newton can go 1 hex. Smith and Franklin. And Howe can go 1 hex to there. Now I'm going to take Newton under Howe, fatigue 2. So this is my third and final. And here's his movement. He can go 4. I'm going to leave Franklin with Howe. Smith will go with Newton. And they're going to go 1, 2, 3 to there, which means he'd have 1 remaining. That would be a hasty attack. Oh, man. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So here's the first initiative of the game. It's mine.
Boo!
Now, I cannot do an assault because of fog conditions. I cannot do an assault. So I have to do this with movement points. So I'll try Newton to fatigue 3. Here's his movement. Well, that's good movement.
Double boo.
But the all important extend march, which is a +1. He's okay. So he will make a prepared attack on Fredericksburg. So the type is, we'll do all the positives first. Type is a +1. Ratio is 17 to 5. So that's going to be a +2 for ratio. I get the Stafford Heights artillery by rule, despite the fact it's fog. And that's it. I don't have any flank. Now we're going to go backwards. Tactical is going to be a -1. Freak is going to be a -1. Fog is going to be a -1. So I think that's it for all the modifiers. So I have 1, 3, 4 up and 3 down for a final of a +1.
+1.
It's a 3.
It is a 3.
Ugly to start.
Here's our big defense. Oh, it's a
So it's a
-3.
-3. Yeah, ugly to start.
As we say, these are dice fests.
-3 on you is nothing. I was hoping to at least get you a D, but I did not. -3 on 17 is going to be 2D.
I concur. 2D.
Well, I think this is what they were, something similar. That's what they're kind of baiting you into doing, or I felt that's how they were doing it, but I felt like I should at least show people this, why you don't do this. Initiative. I'm getting the initiatives. Well, that's just dandy, isn't it? Okay, I'll take. Oh, this is really a pain.
I mean, I could just feel the wind came out of your sails. The tempo of this game just ground to a halt.
Okay, we'll take. Stoneman will take his third core. I feel very much like Burnside. You know, it's like your plan doesn't work, and then what do? You start just flailing, right? Out of the box. They can go 5 hexes. Stoneman will stay with Bernie. Sickles will go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stoneman will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Whip will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. Initiative? Wow. Union couldn't do any better with the initiatives, could they?
They could not.
Okay, we'll take Stonewall, I'll take Sickles and Whipple. Here's their movement. 4. Sickles will go first. He's going to do a force march.
How did I know that?
So he's going to go to disorganize. Here's his force march. So I've got 4 movement points as it is. Here's his force march. So he picks up an additional 3 hexes, and he loses a manpower. So he could go 7. No, he can't go as far as then he can build his bridge at fatigue too. But I didn't need to go that where I wanted him to go. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. There just isn't any good place to build a bridge past that point. So I'll have Whipple go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there.
I think it's meant to keep Early and DH Hill honest.
Yep, keep them at least something like that. Initiative. That's yours.
I'm going to move Featherston. I'll activate him by himself, and he'll march. And he will just come into the town. Initiative. Yours.
It's a traffic jam. Okay, I'm going to activate Getty. He's under that big stack, 9th Corps. He is within Wilcox's range. He's just going to do a min move to there. Initiative. It's mine. Okay, so now Smith is going to activate Howe and Brooks. Howe will need to extend march. Here's their movement. That's just brilliant. Hunt is now going to be attached to Getty. Smith will transfer to Howe. Here's his extend. He's going to flip to disorganize. This is really falling apart pretty quickly, isn't it? They're just going to do a min move to there. These guys go with him. Brooks is just going to cross the river. Initiative, yours. Oh, Stewart had a cavalry.
Oh, yeah. Nah, he's going to stay there. But speaking of cavalry, I will bring Jones up. Activate him. Here's his movement. +1. 10. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. Initiative. Mine again. Going to pass for the moment.
It's only a December 12th turn. I can move Howard. Okay. That's just dandy. That's fine. That's perfect. That's all I wanted to know. I'm assuming it says adjacent. I would assume being on top of would be okay with, or does it have to be in a clear hex? Can I do that with Howard?
It's adjacent to Brooks, so yeah, that'll work.
Okay, so he picks up a fatigue, and he is going to make a prepared attack against Stewart's hex.
Okay.
So it's going to be a type of a +1. Ratio is going to be a +1. There is obviously no flank. There's no terrain. There is, however, fog for a -1. And the tactical, surprisingly, Howard's a 3. I would question that, but
It's from all their training, yes.
I'll take a +1 attack here again.
Okay.
It's a 6.
Here's Stewart's defense. And it's a +3. +3 on 5. You have
10
so
is
two
just
fatigue.
a 2 fatigue, so not terrible result. Probably should just done that up at Frederick, I guess. Of course, that would have.
They have to go back 2. So we'll go 1 to there.
Howard can now advance into the hex, which I'll do. We'll gamble here. Jackson might try to smack him. Initiative. That's yours.
It certainly does seem like a good thing to do. So you don't build up a flank on me here. So yeah, Jackson will activate AP Hill to march. Here's his movement +2. He gets it. So we will make a prepared attack on Howard. If I've got +1 prepared, +1 tactical, +1 for ratio, 2 to 1, then -1 for fog. And you are outside of the protection zone.
You do have
1,
6 hexes
2,
covered.
3, 4, 5. Oh, I do have 6. Okay, so this one's going to come off, obviously. That one's coming off, and that one's coming off. So I will get a minimum of a +1, it looks like.
Yep.
All right, so looks like a +3 final attack.
+3 attack. Yep.
Okay.
I didn't see that flight till after I moved in there.
Here's the +3 attack. It's a 7.
Eat a 6. Come on, Howard. Nope.
Okay, so that's a +4 final on 10.
1 DR for me.
DR.
Plus, I think we might get some retreat losses, maybe.
And we have 20, so it's a 1 for me. So it's an exchange. But yeah, we'll see if anything comes off on the retreat.
Okay, so I lose a manpower. Less fatigue. I have to retreat. What are my options here?
Right now you've got 4A and 4B. Because you've
So I
got
could
Zocs
go
all
into
around.
an enemy Zoc. Oh, right. I could go into Smith, which would be not an enemy occupied hex. It is not more distant from the active enemy, which is better option. I have to go. Yeah, this is my better option.
This one's -2, and then this one's -1, right? Because you're
I
following a
think
road.
they're both -1s, right? Because this is still following a road, not further away.
Right.
Then I could go here, but I think that doesn't make sense. He's just going to be dead meat. So I'll lose 1 going here.
Okay.
Now I can go further away out of Zoc. And now I just go across here. That's 1, 2, 3. And I'll have to follow the road there. And I'm just going to keep going. So I'm just going to park him there and get him out of the way.
Right. Why don't you do your debriefing over there?
So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
I will not take the hex.
So I'm up to 4 manpower losses now.
Yes, 4 manpower, and I've got 1.
Uh,
And here's the next initiative. It's mine again. I will pass for the moment.
well, we'll activate French. Here's his movement. He's just going to get out of the way. Initiative. Yours.
I'll pass.
I'll activate Sturgis. He could go 6 movement points. We'll just get him out of the way. Initiative. Mine. Okay, now Hooker can activate his 3 units. Sykes. Humphrey. Here's their movement. I'm questioning why I'm bothering, quite honestly. Hooker and Butterfield will stay with Griffin. They're just going to go 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Initiative. Mine. Take his 3 guys again. Butterfield. I keep saying Hooker, but it's actually Butterfield's corps commander. Here's their movement. They go 5. He's just going to go to there. 1, 2. I can't remember how much is it to get in the woods from there. Is that going to be?
It's a lot.
Yeah, not enough. Same thing with Humphrey. So he's just going to go 1, 2 to there. Initiative. Mine. Smith will take Howe to fatigue 4. And Brooks. Here's their movement. Franklin will stay with Howe. Smith will transfer to Brooks. Here's Howe's movement, or extended march. 3 plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay. So he's just going to go to there. Now here's Brooks's extend. He's okay. They're just going to go to there. Initiative. Mine. Okay, Wilcox will activate Sturgis. Here's his movement. 5. He'll just go to there. 1, 2, 3. Initiative. Yours.
Longstreet will activate McClaws. Here is movement plus 2. 6. They will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. Initiative. Mine. I'll pass.
Take the first corps under Reynolds. Here's their movement. 6. Reynolds will go with Doubleday. You go 1, 2, 3. Meade will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Gibbon will go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. Initiative. Mine. To do with these guys. Couch will activate Hancock and French. Burnside and Sumner and Couch will all go with Hancock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. French. 1, 2, 3, and 4 to there. Initiative. Mine. Okay, Wilcox will activate Burns. Here's his movement. 4. 1, 2, 3 to there. Initiative. Yours.
Of early March. Here's movement plus 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to there. Initiative. Mine. I'll have DH Hill March. Movement. 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 to there. Initiative, yours.
A Burns March. His movement. And of course, they're kind of stuck doing a min move to there. Initiative, yours.
I'll activate Anderson with Longstreet. And their movement, they will just do a min move to there. Initiative, yours.
Take Getty. 7 movement points. Wilcox will go with him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Initiative. Mine.
Because there's 11, it's up to 11. So it's just a +1. So he can get in there for 3, 4, and then he has 3 left over.
Yeah, he's still going to stop anyway. Because
Okay.
if he goes, that would be crazy to move him there. Which is the only other.
Crazy like a Wilcox.
Well, I'll bring up these cab forces. Why not? Greg can go 10 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Initiative. Yours.
There's a lot of possible ends of turn, but I will pass.
You know what? I'll pass 2.
Okay. So, bridge time.
I can build 2 bridges, is what you're telling me.
I am telling you that.
Well, you've done a pretty good job of making these, but you can't destroy them, which is nice.
Right.
And this first one's going to go, that one's going to go there. And we'll put the second one right there. And we'll just see how that works out.
Really? Going into the woods, eh? All right. I could not have anticipated that. Now, just point of order for you, and it may not matter because you've been getting 1s on river crossings. If you put it here, there's a road connecting, obviously, where the high waters are. Those are road crossing fords. And that one would be like a 6 movement to get across there. So.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Sure. Hooker's a daredevil. Alright, let me hit the recover button here in the rain, as it were. There we go. Everybody's recovered. Bridges are built. Advance. So we are now out of the fog, but the residual fog, I guess, still exists. And all that means is I can't destroy bridges. Boo! So here you come. What do you...
It'd be game over pretty quick if you could, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah. Pop, pop, pop. You know, just burst all the bubbles. But yeah, you mentioned I had covered, I think, where I would have put bridges as, you know, but you surprised me with Hooker there. So DH Hill, I didn't want to overcommit. I just brought him forward, and I figured, well, even if you put one at Sickles, then I'll draw the line. Yeah, here, no further.
Yep.
I'm very curious to see how this is all going to play out because I know what I need to cover. You need to get me under 40. All right. So any one of those or Salem Church will do it, potentially. Yeah.
Salem Church, obviously, if I take you out of the 3 10-point positives, not only do you lose those 10, you lose the 15 for having. Right. That's a 25-point swing, which is pretty big. On the other hand, it seems really, really hard to get any momentum going here.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like we did a body swap, and you're feeling exactly what I felt last week. There's this just cloud that's coming in and swallowing you up, going, I want to do this. Like, no, you can't.
Oh, you got to get guys out of the way. Then where are you going to move them to? Yeah, I just could not figure out how to stretch to make Port Royal come into play. I mean, just as counting hexes before we got started this morning going. There's just no, you got to get all the way down. There's just no point trying to cross, trying to get across over in this mess.
Exactly. Yeah. All between the swamp and all the non-road terrain. So.
Yeah. So it's just.
Yeah. This one, it's a significant logistical challenge in all respects for the Union. And on top of that, you've got to agonize over the die roller and making the best attacks with what forces you can at specific locations. You're making very targeted attacks here and there. Obviously, you're limited in the first turn by no assaults, so you got to set up things for turn 2, and then the dominoes will start following here and there. Because even if you do, now I'm compelled, if you take any one of the 10 points, now you've set up another 30 minutes of counterattacking, and so yeah, it's going to get bloody very quickly.
Yep.
Well,
Maybe real quickly, if I don't get the one of the first 2 initiatives, it's going to be a mess for me.
I mean, geez, you had a string of at 1.6 or 7 in the first one is the
Yes.
Union, yeah.
And I wasn't able to do anything with them because I didn't get the Fredericksburg hex. That's really key to get anything going. And I was hoping to get Stewart a little further out of the way. And then, of course, you countered on Howard. I didn't see the flank till after I moved down there. And I realized, oh, there's going to be an additional flank. That makes it a really bad move.
Well, I to your credit, I didn't see the strike force coming in and doing a surprise attack on Stewart either. Does that count as a move, or that's a special action? And the way I interpret it, like you, I think, is they just appear, out of the fog, and Stewart was probably caught unaware. So there would be no chance for a cav retreat on that. I thought that was great. Okay, well then I will turn it over to you for turn 2 leader transfers, if you wish.
Okay, this is probably not even worth the effort, but I'll move Franklin over to Reynolds. I'll put Burnside over with Wilcox. And I'll move Sumner over there as well. Where do I need to have a coordinated attack? That's going to be the desperation move right there, I think, at the end of the game. Okay, that's it for me, I believe. Hooker can stay put. Yeah, that's it for me.
I think I will move Lee down to Jackson and leave Longstreet in Fredericksburg. So I guess I'll roll for our first initiative here in turn 2. There was no other housekeeping, right, for turn 2?
Oh, let me think about it. I checked this. I think you can confirm. Hunt, if I move Hunt, that's 3 points for you.
Right.
I'm going to move Hunt.
Spot me another 3, baby.
Move him down to Smith.
Okay. I'm going to put the VP marker then for 3, just to show that you moved him. Could be the difference. You never know.
I need that die roll modifier, I think.
That's right. Here's our first initiative. It's mine. Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Okay. I think I'm going to simply move early first. So early will march. Early will go there. Initiative, yours.
Well, that's one bridge blocked, isn't it? Hooker will take Griffin. Sykes. Not Humphrey. Here's their movement. 6 movement points. As you pointed out, they can go to there. Have to stop. Well, it's a Zoc anyway. Sykes will go to there. Initiative. Yours.
Longstreet will activate Anderson and Wilcox. Here's their movement +2. 6. Wilcox will go first. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Anderson will follow behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Initiative, yours.
Hooker will take Sykes. Humphrey. Is 3610 a restricted Zoc or an unrestricted Zoc?
It is
into that.
It's a restricted Zoc.
So he would not flip to disorganize if he went that direction?
Correct.
Yeah, we'll take Griffin as well. Here's their movement. 6 movement points. Butterfield will stay with Griffin. They'll go there. He'll go there. Humphrey will go 1, 2 to there. Initiative. Mine. Butterfield will attempt an assault on Anderson and Wilcox. Here's the attempt. Does come off. So the type's going to be a +1. Tactical is even. There's no flank. It's 4 guns to 4, so that's going to be -2 for artillery. There's no other terrain. There's no ratios just covered. So I see a -1 attack.
And then -2. Yep, right. -1.
Okay. Probably unwise, but I just don't need better string units. Okay, let's see how this comes off. Ah, this is going to be a disaster, isn't it?
Here's defense. Yeah, it's a 1.
You're just tired.
I'm just tired. And you are 1D?
D, yeah.
-1, okay.
Initiative. Ah, okay. I'm going to run out of fatigues to get Salem Church, even if I can get there. But Butterfield's going to activate Humphrey for movement. Here's his movement. They'll transfer to him, and they'll go back to Sykes. Initiative. Yours.
I will have Jones march around. Here's a movement +1. It's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to there. Initiative. Yours.
Okay, let's see. You have 11 and 11. Humphreys and Sykes will attempt an assault against McClaws. Here's the attempt. Does not come off. Initiative. Mine. Well, golly. If I take them with both, they're going to be out of fatigues. Go with one. Yeah, I'll just go with Sykes. Here's the attempt.
Wow.
Initiative. That's mine. Dang it. It's going to be a -1 ratio, -1 creek. It's going to be a potentially -2 attack. And I'm not going to be able to take the church anyway. Okay, we're going to have Wilcox is going to activate Getty and Sturgis and Burns as well. Here's their movement. 7. Sumner, Burnside, Wilcox will all stay with Getty and Sturgis, and they're just going to do a mid-move to there. Burns is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to there. Initiative. Mine. Well, we might call this early. I'm going to take Brooks under Smith, T1. He's going to attempt an assault on Lee, Jackson, Hill, and Hood. Here's the attempt. It comes off. Franklin is right next to him. He's going to ask Franklin for a potential grand assault. Franklin says, yeah, why not? Now Burnside says, no.
Has he ever said yes to us?
Not a hell no, but a no.
Not today.
I didn't want to. I was concerned about setting up the flank by moving that. I couldn't. Again, I should have moved Franklin. I didn't have Franklin in a good spot. That was really stupid because if I'd moved him down there, then I couldn't have had the attempt. So we'll go with what we have. So the type's a +1. There's not many positives here. I have Hunt for a +1. There's no flank. There's no terrain. The ratio is 14 to 19. So the ratio is going to be a -1. And you have 6 pieces of artillery, and I'm just going in with Brooks, who has 4, which is a -2, which at least isn't a -3. You'll get just the -2 artillery. I am not within range of Stafford Heights, so I don't get that bonus. So I don't see any other modifiers So it's 2 up and 3 down for a final of a -1.
You got tactical, right?
Oh, tactical. You have a 4. So you have a tactical. So it's a -2 final.
Okay.
-1 for a final of a -2. Not a good attack.
So down ratio artillery and tactical. Okay.
Yep. Here we go. -2. That's 4.
What you're saying is there's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's my defense. Yeah, and look at that. So it's you get me out of there. It is a +2, right? On.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the game has now changed. +2 on 19. +2 on 19. I'm going to lose 2 manpower. And you are going to lose 1 manpower.
Yep.
So I'm up 2, and you're up 1. Okay. So I will take it both off of AP Hill. 1, 2, and they have to fall back, so they will simply fall back 1 and 2. The hex is yours.
Okay. I can take it with Brooks. He lost a guy. And what were some other effects for him? He's also disorganized. He does take the hex. Smith will go with him. Hunt will go with him. And Burnside's a blue, so he has to stay put. And I'll leave Burnside where he is. And that did change the game pretty significantly. Initiative. Yours.
Well, okay. Move, counter move. Jackson will activate Tolliver. Here is movement +2. 7. Simply transfer up. If I don't get the next initiative, then it's harder. It's one of those agonizing Great Campaigns decisions. Plus you've got Hunt in there, so that'd be a minus. Yeah, I'll hold back. So here's the next initiative. It's mine. Okay. I will now try Tolliver attempting an assault on Smith. So here's the assault attempt. It comes off. We will request a grand assault from Lee. It does not come off. Well, who's obstinate now? Alright, we got +1 assault. We got +1 tactical. We've got a +1 Lee bonus. Right. So that's 3 up. I've got ratio covered. I get you get a -1 for Hunt being present, and then another -2 for artillery and clear. So I see flank wise, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one's going to come off, and that one's going to come off. So no flank. So I just see 3 up, 3 down. Is that right? Assault tactical Lee positive. -1 Hunt, -2 artillery and clear.
Yep, that's right, yeah.
Okay, so let's see if the gods smile on me today. Here's the attack. It's a 5. And it's a 4. Look at that. The gods do not smile on me today. Alright, so Tolliver.
+1 result.
+1 result. So Tolliver's 10. And I'm going to give you back another manpower.
So it's a 9. He's just a D, which he already is, so.
Okay. Lose a manpower and flip. Give you another manpower. Boy, howdy. Okay. That's terrible. Let's do initiative. It's mine. Try this again with activating Picket. Picket will march. That's fine. So I'm going to move Longstreet down there. So that is that. Put Lee on top. There we go. Initiative. It's yours.
What do you have in there now? You have 21. I'll move Getty. Roll for movement just to see. He's just going to do a mid move to there. Initiative. Yours.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do both, so I will have Longstreet tap Picket for an assault attempt. Try this again. So here's the assault attempt. No, it does not happen. Okay. Initiative. It's mine again. All right, so we'll take Picket to 3, and we'll try that once again. Can we have an assault? No, we cannot. Okay. And initiative, mine. We'll take him to 4, and assault attempt. It does come off. So I see assault +1, tactical +1, Lee +1. I have ratio covered 15 to 14. You have a -1 for hunt again, and then this time you've got 6 pieces of artillery to my 3, which is still a -2, I think. Is that right?
Yep.
Clear, -2. Yep. So once again, it's 3 up and 3 down for the assault. Here is my attack. It's 5 again. Hey,
Oh, it's enough.
The counterattack works.
Okay. So that's going to be a +2.
It is a +3.
+3. Now 14, which is going to be a 1 DR for me.
And a 1 FA for me. So he's done anyway.
1, 2. Okay, I'll take them both off of Getty, I guess. Or one off of Getty. 3 possibilities here. This is interesting. I may end up losing some manpower because my first option is further away by road out of Azak is this way. I now have 2 options. Either way, I'm going to lose a manpower on each guy. Because if I go here, I'm not by road into Azak.
Right, that's 1 each, right?
If I go this way, it's not further away by road, so I'm not to the left of the slash. It's going to be 1 manpower
That's
each.
4B, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I lose a manpower here. So that's now 3 manpower I've lost total on this attack.
Okay.
I can now go further away by road, still in Azak, but I am by road this time. There.
Okay. We will, of course, retake the hex. All right. So that counterattack worked for the moment. Here's the next initiative. It's yours.
Okay. Sturgis Fatigue 2. He's going to attempt, Wilcox will attempt an assault on Lee and Longstreet. 6 does not come off. Initiative.
It's really cold, and all of our assaults are failing. That's awesome.
That's your unit.
All right. I will, so we'll have Robertson activate. Here's movement. He's just going to slide over and join the crowd. Initiative, yours.
You're now 21. Well, it didn't really change things a lot, except for now you got a lot more artillery in there. I'll try again. Sturgis. Is there anything I can do to help this situation? Fortunately, I overcommitted guys to the flank. My left flank. So they're a long ways away. Yeah, we have to try this. We'll take Sturgis to Fatigue 3. Here's the attempt. It's a 3. He's a 4, maybe? He's a 5, so that does come off. Sumner is stacked with him. That helped. That'd be 23 to 15. That would cover the ratio. But also cover artillery. So yeah, we'll attempt, see if Sumner will agree to a grand assault. He does. Burnside says, boy, that seems pretty risky, boys. I don't know. I will not agree.
Bring me my brandy and cigars.
So the type is a +1. Tacticals, I think that's going to be it for positives. Maybe. Let's see. Actually, I do have a flank. I have 5 hexes covered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because these guys were not demoralized.
Correct.
So I do get a flank of a +1, but one's going to come off because Jackson's hex is going to come off. So the flank is a +1. But now things start coming off. Tactical's a -1. Artillery is a -2. I only have 3 guns to your 4. And the ratio's a -1. So the final I see is a -2.
Well, I mean, precedent says that you have been successful with a -2 attack on this before. So let's see how the next battle, this third battle of Hamilton's Crossing, goes. See?
4.
Uncanny! Alright, here's the defense.
It's 0.
It is 0. Alright, whew. Man,
So you're disorganized.
gosh. Alright, so.
I only went in with 11, so it's only going to be a 1D for me.
And I had 21 on the 0. It's
I may have
1D for
lost
me.
track of how many. I've got me at 10 losses now.
Now at 10, right. So 1 for me, 1 for
And you lost 1 as well.
I did. Okay, so we are disorganized and D'd out.
Okay. So I lose manpower. Okay. Initiative. Double 1s.
Well, there's not too much I can do, but I will bring DH Hill forward. So movement 5. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. Initiative, mine. Yeah, I'll move DH Hill again. Movement. And he's just going to stack with early. Initiative. Mine. A lot of double 1s. Wow. Today is Snake Eyes. I will pass.
Wow. 2031 now with 7 pieces of artillery. Well, let me try this other gambit I was trying. So we're going to go back up to Hooker and Butterfield. We'll take Humphreys to fatigue 4. And he's going to make an attack on McClaw's. Attempted attack on McClaw's. It comes off. This is going to be, the type's going to be a +1. Creek is going to be a -1. Ratio is going to be a -1. And you have a die roll for artillery, I believe.
I do. You've got 4 to my 3, so yeah. On even, it is used. It is used.
Dang it. Artillery's a -1. So 1 up and 3 down for a final of a -2 again. These attacks, for those of you who are watching, don't want to do.
No bueno.
But I'm kind of running out of options here. So it's going to be a 3. If you roll 1, I got a chance.
Here's defense. Yep. It's
Nope.
-1.
So -1 on. I went in with Humphrey, which is a 10. It is a 1D. Just
And 2 Fs for me.
okay.
The cruel irony of it is, on those big attacks, you got a 6, a 6, and a 5. So you're getting the numbers, but that -2 is, not able to offset.
If I'd been able to get a coordinated assault and cover the ratio on artillery, but no. Well, I did that one. Yeah, I won. Anyway, it is what it is. Initiative. It's yours.
I will pass.
Okay, so do I attack across that bridge? That'd be a -2 if I can get everybody in. Yeah, we'll take Gibbon to fatigue 1. Here's his movement. Great movement, Gibbon. He's just going to slide over 1 hex. Initiative. Mine. Okay. Reynolds is going to take Gibbon, Meade, and Doubleday. Thankfully, Reynolds is a 7. 3, he can bring all 3 in. That gives me 36 to covers the ratio. I have 3 10 guns to your 7. I cover the guns. So yep, that's what we're going to do. So the type's going to be a +1. Tactical is even. Artillery is covered. Ratio is covered. There's no flank. The terrain is going to be tacking across a bridge for a -2. So the final is a -1.
Okay.
It's a 3.
Here's defense. It's a 1.
That's going to hurt.
So
For manpower.
+1.
36 +1
3D.
is a 3D.
And I have 31, so it's a 2D. So very bloody. Very, very bloody. 2 and 1, 2 and 3.
1, 2. Disorganize.
1, 2.
Need 1, 2, 3. Disorganize. I'll take all the manpower off of Doubleday. 2, 3. And oops, lost track of him. 1, 2, 3. Disorganize. And I'm going to roll a knit. It's mine. I'm going to pass.
Do a final board check. No, everything is status quo. Nothing has changed. I've retained the 3 positives for me. Got the 15, so I will pass as well. This one's brutal.
I'm not sure what to say about it.
I don't either. I mean, it's like I want to give offerings of condolences because I've been there. I know. I thought you did some really cool attempts on certain things. You certainly had more success here at Hamilton's Crossing than I did in that one. So officially, when we look at the victory points, I have 8 losses to your 14, so I have 6 points in my favor. 6 points plus you moved Hunt, so I get 9 points for that. So I guess
I've got you at 54 total points. You've got 45. You have the base 45, right?
Right.
And you get 3 points for artillery moves.
48, right?
And then you get the manpower losses.
Oh, right. Okay, 6 in my favor. Right. So 54. Yeah. 54. Yeah, that is a Confederate substantive. So for very little effort on my part, other than reacting to you, which but there were some critical moments there where 2 or 3 failed. Oh well, overall we had 5 failed assaults with 6s. I had 2 or 3 of them in a row right there.
Yeah. You almost ran out. Your last one.
Yep.
Yeah, I was lucky to get AP Hill out of there with that attack. To get Brooks in there, that was blind luck. I overcommitted to my left flank, attacking your right flank, or I should have put up 2 bridges and abandoned the attempt to get Hooker. I didn't have enough. I moved Burns up there as a last-ditch attempt, hoping I could get McClaws out, and then Burns might have enough to get to Salem Church. Of course, you could still counter, obviously.
Right.
I still had an attack. Could have potentially tried movement attacks with Newton and Howe, but I was just digging the hole in so deeper and taking Fredericksburg at
it only gives
5.
you It gives you a bridge and 5 points, right? So
yeah, and at that point, I just couldn't see any way now to get the Second Corps over there to help. I guess I could have tried that, but at some point, it's like, okay, it's just going badly, right? I mean, at some point, you just gotta say,
here it is. Well, let's pivot then, since we have now both played the Union side on this, and we've faced the guns literally. Let's talk about the scenario as a whole and any particular points of balance issues, whatever, since there are some notes being taken by us or potentially for a future redevelopment of this. What do we think of this one based on our individual plays and strategies as the Union? Does it seem overly scripted or on rails, or are there opportunities beyond what we've explored? I could take it first, or you could take it first. Whoever wants to talk.
Let you go ahead and go first, because I'm still kind of decompressing.
I figured. Yeah, I think both you and I, it's just starting from Act One of this, even though it is a very abbreviated play. Act One of this seems like you and I both avoided the obvious, or the historical, which is build some pontoon bridges, race across at Fredericksburg. You are given the opportunity with the string of three, as I call it, and the potential use of a setup attack with Howard. Both you and I decided, well, let's. You surprised me because I thought you were when you said I'm declaring my first three. I thought, okay, here we go, we're doing that, and then you decide to use it for just shuttling everyone down across towards the Deep Run Creek. So I was surprised by that. You caught me unawares in a good way because I was like, oh, okay, I've got some breathing room. And then your string of initiatives, of course, is going to affect every game that you play. But this one, how could you most efficiently use that? And I think that's another logistical puzzle for the Union on this one is you are so in your mindset about moment to moment to moment. And then if you do get a string of them, that's really tough because now you're like, oh crap, I'm on the hook again. I don't want to pass because Confederate potentially could just pass and end the turn. So maybe for all of its scripting, maybe the Union should just try that first. And if you get your nose bloodied, okay, then you set up things for the second day on that based on that result. If you get in there and you get the 5 points, you now have another bridge in play, and you can immediately just start funneling people in there. It's going to be very slow, but you're able to move people here and move people here, and then get people right here. And now you could potentially set up an early attack on Mary's Heights. I would recommend it because they've already got the 14 plus 2, 16 manpower there, and the breastworks and all that. So maybe the old ways are the best ways on this one. Maybe Burnside was not as crazy as we thought. So that's my thought on Act 1. I think you and I both did a magnificent attempt to play the flanks in our own ways. I went stupidly with Howard in mine. You tried to commit down to here. I thought putting Sickles here was good because it really did make me think, oh man, I want to bring D.H. Hill up, but at the same time, I don't want to bring him too far. And then once you committed to putting the bridge there, I said, okay, now I can at least bring him to here. And then that way, if you do happen to get a breakout, I have a second chance to stop you here. And of course, having early as the first line of defense. I love having clear terrain down there because even with a small offset in guns, you're getting the -2. So that's good. But the creeks were a factor in both of our decision making here. Surely, I mean, because you can't approach from south here because you're going to lose that. And here, especially, obviously, that gave you enough. You even said it out loud earlier in this one. When you approach from the southeast here into Fredericksburg, you're immediately at a deficit of 1. So, yeah, so the two big surprises for me are the fact that you took the opportunity to spot me 3 points by moving Hunt, which, as it turned out in that attack, was exactly what you needed because it got me out of Hamilton's Crossing. I think this one, I don't know. I mean, it is such a puzzle for the Union, and because it's 2 turns, the dice are so significant. I think the smart play here is for the Confederates to try to build a bulwark. I was surprised when you didn't put the bridge here. I thought it was going to either be here or here, and try to funnel them in between, and that would give me something. Because I kind of got the impression that you were stretching the middle so that I would have to commit to countering you here and there. But because I was able to put 11 here and 11 here, I knew that, all right, well, if you come in the middle, then potentially I can squish you. If you try to do either one of those to optimize the road, well, then you're going to have a hard time with that. But when you went into the woods, I thought, oh, okay, that gives me a moment to to build a little bulwark outside of Salem Church, as we've talked about before. I don't like to build up a stack in the objective hex. I want to give a cushion of at least one hex, because in both situations you're like, all right, I won, or I could win, but then I don't have enough gas in the tank to actually exploit and get into the spot. So I would love to see historically in all the previous games how many people ever successfully get to Port Royal to play that gambit. Once you got the force march and I saw that it was going to take you here and no further, I had a moment of pain for you. I felt it because you did what I should have done, which was force march. But at the same time, it got you right here, and you really need to be... I mean, any of this point is just... it's helpless. You've got to get a great move at fatigue level 0 to get somebody like Gibbon all the way here, and then try to get something down to Port Conway. But it's really tricky. I mean, it's all luck.
Very much so. I was just, there was just, I was something like, okay, I'll try it and see how far he gets. But yeah, once you get past where Sickles is, there's just no point.
Yeah, right.
I mean, maybe you can't get into that swamp. So this is probably the next hex where maybe that would be threatens Port Royal enough to keep somebody down there. But yeah, this was just brutal for me. I just, the fact that the units are not consolidated at the start, you got core everywhere. So, I had to spend movement points to get guys out of the way. And this, of course, became a huge choke point. I probably should have put this bridge up by Hooker, just said, okay, that's not going to work because you had it good blocked, and put a bridge right there. So I could have had 2 routes to funnel down the Telegraph Road. So I have a bridge here, and a bridge here, and a bridge here.
And what made it even worse on each of these, here and here and here, and each of those attacks, they were all within a pip, right? And that's I'd rather just 1-6, brr, it was sucked. But when you're that close, that is agonizing, because it's like, if I just had one more pip, just one, what could I have done?
Just scrolling up through the log file here where I put my tax -1, -2, -2, -1. Not how you're supposed to play the game, folks.
But at the same time, that's
play the game with a bunch of...
Yeah,
there's a +1. The best ones I have are +1s. You can't really build up anything though, because the counters are so high in the terrain, the artillery and clear. I mean, they're just in Burnside failure to agree.
We have recreated history. Hooray!
I mean, every single or Grand Division, I don't think I had a single failure at the Grand Division level. It was all at the Burnside level.
And it almost seems like the Union builds up their stack less for the manpower coverage and more for helping to offset the artillery.
Yes. Well, that's a huge... -2 artillery is pretty huge. And I bought Hunt down because I was thinking, okay, I'm talking trying to get 25 points. I'll give you 3. So it's
certainly. Certainly. That was a
22-point swing.
Yep.
I don't know how much play testing there was done on, obviously, because we weren't around. It seems like it's a little... I guess it depends on what you're looking for. I think you're right. I think it's designed to recreate the Union Army fighting the Battle of Fredericksburg. That's the title of the scenario. Trying to do something else that gives you that feeling of trying to do something else. And maybe that's good. I'm not sure what to say about it. I'm really not.
Yeah, no, I'm with you completely on that. I think that somebody said, all right, we did the first scenario is speculative. Okay, cool. Second scenario is November. All right, and they're kind of in range, and there's a lot of open field movement, and you've got pontoons. Great. And then somebody said, well, this is Burnside. We really need a Battle of Fredericksburg for this. And I assume that was in the early designs for this whole module for this. But as my experience has been, anytime you have a set piece battle, if you don't have a little bit of additional flexibility, even look at McClellan's opportunity, right? That's one I always love to go back to. McClellan's opportunity is the Battle of Antietam, but it is not just here you're crossing Antietam Creek. You have a couple of days there to set up the preliminary, and you get, but depending on your command ability and your roles and all that, you have the opportunity to try different things. This one, it gives you a day and the protection of the fog to maybe try for some things like the flanks or to go out of the ordinary. Now, it's hard for us to gauge this because you and I both denied the straightforward, just knock them over the head, take Fredericksburg. If you do that, I would love to hear your experiences down, in the comment section. For those of you who've played this since 2003 or who are playing this as a result of us doing this, let's see you try it. I want to hear what your experiences are, and if going straight in, down the throat, and get Fredericksburg, get the bridge, and then start working in from that, does that make this particular scenario more than just a dice fest where it might work out? I mean, you had some glimmers of hope there when you kept rolling the sixes, and I was like, go, and then you got me out of there.
Yeah,
like, 25 points, right gone. It's just that hunt change looked like the smartest thing anyone's ever done. When you did it, I went, oh, he's spotting me 3 points. That's like pointing to the right field stands, man. That was great.
well, I was thinking about moving more artillery to try to offset the artillery. And I was actually kicking myself that I didn't move Artillery Reserve C down to get into, if I take it and I can get those 6 pieces of artillery in there, now you're fighting uphill.
Yeah, that's worth.
But I was going to bring Howard into this hex and attack. That was going to be my third thing, and I thought, well, I could do it with Newton. I get the ratio. If I get it, and I got the attack I wanted. I just didn't come off. I just didn't get you out of there. And then you bought in Featherstone. At that point, it's like, well, Howard now really can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah, it does not take much to defend the town itself. So, I'm with you. I think there's definitely something here. I don't dislike it. It's just extremely challenging for the Union player. It is a puzzle in every sense, setting up attacks, organizing your units, logistics of movement, all of that across the board. And for 2 days, that is campaign level mind taxing, whereas you've got to try to figure out in setup on day 1, execution potentially on day 2, and it's not a lot of time.
And something as simple to me as saying Hunt can be attached to an artillery would have made that first thing, because I had to burn an initiative just to get an infantry guy
to replace him, right?
That spot.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, but
but we are. But we are. But we have heard the previous considerations on social media. People are like, "Oh, this is great and all," and we'll watch the replay, but we really want to see the campaign, so that's where we're headed next.
Yes,
we are going into 31 turns of the advanced game for Burnside Takes Command. So we've wrapped this up. We've played all 3 of the basic scenarios. We're going to move on to the advanced campaign and all of the small minutia that goes with that. We will have potential of fog on different days as the setup goes. So I'm greatly looking forward to that. We will get started with that as soon as next week, and I'm sure with 31 turns, it's going to be at least 3 or 4 sessions. But Roger, I want to congratulate you for a very good attempt on this one. Much better than I felt I did last time. You at least got the Confederates out of one spot, and Reynolds didn't say no. He's like, I'm going to try to cross the bridge. And he just, he faced very stiff odds on that one. So until next time, folks, come on back. Here's a look at all of our supporters. We got a couple new supporters this week, so thank you very much, everyone who's kicked in a buck or two. But your support is just by giving the positive feedback that we encourage and hearing your comments down in the comment section. And be sure to go back through all of the catalog on this one if you're not familiar with how far we've gone since 2020. So we got lots and lots of stuff. So, Roger, any last thoughts for the group before we continue on down the road?
I have soloed the campaign game, and I thought it was great. There is end of turn. There's also possible early end of game options. There's a very interesting. They did the random events chart. Is not the standard. Roll to die against a 12. It's now one die is tens, one die is singles. So there's a lot of options.
Oh, the D66. Okay, great.
It's balloons. You have staff mutinies. You have local guides. You have pontoons being delayed, and that was a big thing when I soloed it. My pontoons never showed up at all, and there's also a lot of rain and fog. So there's going to be a lot of things like that that will make the game very interesting, and you can easily, and you have really kind of two options. You can either do the head for Fredericksburg option, or you can do the Lincoln Staunton plan as we played out. Or you can go for both, actually. It doesn't tell you you have to choose one or the other. You could try both, which is hard, I think. But it's really easy to get stuck in the wilderness, in the rain, and the fog. I will say that because that's what happened
Yeah.
to my Union Army.
Yeah. Well, I'm elated that you previewed it for yourself, so I have to go back and do a little research myself. But I just cannot wait to try it. And
It's going to be. I think it's going to be really fun. I think you're going to enjoy it. I certainly did soloing. It'd be great to play against an opponent.
excellent, excellent. Well, everybody out there, come on back, and we will see you next time. Roger, have a fantastic week, and I will see you
You
next
too.
Sunday.
Bye bye.